But I think it's cool for a quick overview. It's just kind of another tool that you can have in your practice. So I think it's worth a shot to kind of read a little bit more about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the thing that when I'm trying to comprehend astrology or even explain it, what you said, the placement of the planets within our solar system affects our mind and consciousness. And I think some people would just be like, well, what? How does that happen? I mean, it's almost, like if you were to think of imagine the universe as just like a layer of water, so to speak. And when you drop a pebble in that water, it creates a ripple. And then each one of these planets is like a ripple generator, so to speak. And so each one of these planets has its own frequency for the way that the ripples are being created. But then the interesting thing is that when you have 9, 10 objects that are huge and in mass and in this space, in this ocean of energy, then the ripples that they're creating, they're overlapping with each other. And more so than anything, they're creating that space between two ripples when they collide, the Vesica Pisces, the shape that looks like an eyeball, like sideways sort of thing, that shape. That shape is where new form, new vibration sort of comes out of. But what I'm trying to say is that as the planets move, and as we move through them, we're moving into different places of the universe where we're being hit by ripples differently. And obviously, like music, that when you change something slightly, it sounds different. And if you change it more, it sounds quite different. So we're like an instrument constantly being played by the ripples that are hitting the harmonics of us in space, so to speak. I mean, and that's trying to put it in a layman's terms sort of thing. So anyways, so again, astrology is this idea that based on where we are at certain points of the year within the solar system, we're being hit by different ripples, which, and again, you almost have to go back to the whole idea of how does that vibration affect everything. Well, vibration would affect everything, but anyways, ... So what I think, just to add my own insight real quick, or just my own, not my own observation, just an idea that I'm holding on to, and then I'll pass this around the circle. But I think astrology is valuable because it's interesting how we are born with different signs. We are born with different zodiacs. We are a lot of people are familiar with this. And the idea is that these zodiacs, these signs, these houses almost reflect a nature of who we are. It reflects our nature. And again, part of the reason is that people are born in different places of the universe depending on when they are born throughout the time of the year. And then based on some studies, this actually means that, and also it has to do with the fact that the sun releases different types of radiation at different times of the year. So at a super micro level, you as an embryonic state are being affected differently by the different ripples of the reality that you're in when you're a small child, which drastically, or not drastically, but in some way influences your nature, the blueprint that you sort of step into, which becomes your character, which becomes who you are as a person, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, if that makes sense, that's again, keeping in mind, Paradigm Shift Radio is all just about practice. We as consciousness are just doing our best efforts to talk about the things that it's just okay, so here's my best guess, here's me trying to put this grand scheme of things into words, and that was my effort at that, and it's always just practice.